Setting up your store payment methods. To control all the payment methods in the NuEPOS system, click Settings and then click Payment Methods in the top right there. And that will show all the payment methods that you're currently using at the moment. When you install the software, you would have been asked to choose what language. So if you chose British, you will get the British spellings. If you choose US English, you will get the American spellings for such as Czech and so on. So at the moment, by default, you normally get 6 different payment methods: cash, card, checks, web payments, internal vouchers or system vouchers, and external vouchers, which is basically a word for coupons and so on. So if you'd like to change any of these, just click the little 3 dots there and then change the name to whatever you want. So if I want to change it to coupons, press tick, it's now got that name. These are also the 6 basic types of payment methods. You can actually have multiple ones. So for example, if I click web payments, I could click on the edit button there, change its name to say PayPal, like this, press tick, but I can add another one and choose Stripe, where it says payment method type, click on it and change it to web payments, tick, and then press tick again. So you can have multiple payment methods of the same type. You cannot, though, do that for cash. That's the exception, or internal voucher. But the rest of them, you should be able to have multiples. Some people, for example, have multiple cards. They may want to choose between Visa, MasterCard, etc. Most of the time, though, the only time you should have multiple cards is if you have different providers, especially for payment integrations. Which, speaking of which, if you click edit against it, if you have a particular integration, click integration there and you can choose from any of these options. Some of these require further details. So for example, if I chose global payments and press tick, it asks me what port number is it on. So you press tick there. Payments sent new, for example, press tick. It asks me all the details to put that in as well. I'm going to go back and choose none there. You can put some notes in here. These are also useful for accounting integration, so for exporting data to Sage or Xero or QuickBooks. You can put in a code there. That's sometimes what that's for too. You can also decide whether this payment method should open the cash drawer or not. So if in this case, do you want the cash drawer to open whenever a card sale is done? Some people do, some people don't. You can also specify here whether we have to cash up. So usually cash, card and checks are cashed up, but vouchers and web payments aren't cashed up. Give cash back. So in other words, do you do cash back for card? That should always be turned on if the payment type is cash, because it's obviously change. And sometimes you can also request a serial number. So again, for coupons, that would be a great one to turn on. So you click on this and say request serial number, and you can even scan that if it's got a barcode as well. So whenever the payment method is used, you may want the system to ask what serial number it is for it as well. You can delete a payment method by pressing delete here. A few other more advanced options is, for example, under, I think it's under coupons or external vouchers, you can add money back rules as well. So if you do give cash back like this, you could add a rule and say in this currency, if the amount is greater than £1, then give them back cash, for example. So if they're using a particular type of coupon and they've still got money on it, you may choose to give them a different payment method back or whatever there if you want to. Finally, you can set payment warnings for. So if I say card, I can actually add warnings. So cash is the best one to use for this actually. So we'll set payment warnings, press add, cash, in pounds. And then what you do is double click or double tap warn value over, So if the amount is more than, say, let's say £500, if there's more than £500 been taken on this terminal, so you'd limit that by the terminal there, so we'll say terminal number 1, then warn every time cash sale is made, so that you know to do a petty cash or cash up to reduce that value back to 0 or a lower amount. You've also got instances over as well, so if, for example, you've took more than 30 sales in cash, you can warn as well. But typically people only ever use this for warn value over, but they do normally limit the terminal number. If you didn't limit the terminal number, just double click it, choose null here, and that would be £500 across all of the cash draws, across all of the tills. I'm going to delete that warning there. Most of the time, though, you just the stock factory default settings are usually sufficient. The only things you might want to change again is whether the cash drawer opens on card sales or not. But it is quite useful, especially for website integrations, to add multiple website payment methods there as well. So when you're on the sales screen, these payment methods will now appear when you press the other button.